Well, hello again, team. So, where are we? Well, we're somewhere completely different. Why are we somewhere completely different? Well, I think you know the answer to why we're somewhere completely different. I realized, like I said, kind of at the end of the last episode, that um, I was biting off slightly more than I could chew by trying to do too much too soon. And what that was effectively doing was splitting my profits because I wasn't maximizing the profit gain from my production facilities. So before I got to here, which is where I am now, I went off and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna try a couple of things. So I went away and I tried a couple of things, and I took the lessons that I learned from the first two abject failures, and determined that what I was going to do was I was going to focus on only one line to start with, and I was going to try and maximize that line to make as much profit as I possibly could, and see how that went before embarking on trying to do multiple lines. So that's what's happened here, and it's been 24 years. This particular map has been running. It's taken me 24 years, but I'm happy with it, and I don't think there's anything else I want to do with it from that perspective. And I thought what we'll do is, seeing as I've already done 24 years, we'll just carry on from here. For this series, for this season, and then maybe when we do another map, we'll start from scratch, and I'll show you how I got to where I got to. Bearing in mind that oil is particularly lucrative as one of the methods of making money. So anyway, here is the situation. These now have English names. So we're here in Dartmouth, in between Dartmouth and Ashby de la Zouch, which is a fantastic place. Anyway, Ashby de la Zouch isn't featuring here. We're really just talking about Dartmouth. And we had this fuel scenario set itself up, which I think is great. We have the raw oil going to the refinery, and we have the fuel, and we have Dartmouth that needs the fuel, and it's pretty much that straightforward. So what I decided to do was I did a quick loop with this one, really because this thing was in the way. Could I have done one line and just come back again? Yeah, I could have saved my money by not doing the loop. It wasn't very expensive. I stuck to the lower areas. As you can see, it's pretty flat out here, so it didn't really cost me a lot of money in terms of tracks. But yes, if you wanted to, you could have just done one way and had the tracks coming past each other, but then I would have needed more passing lanes and so on. So I don't know, 50-50. I don't think it was a big deal. And this was what I originally set up, and that was going okay. And then I realized that we had another one here, another oil field here, and I should probably just be making the most of it. So I set up another line which has a couple of passing locations on it, and that was to also supply the refinery, because there just wasn't enough oil. So what you know is that the main production places produce tons of this stuff, more than you're ever going to get. This is at like 140, and it's regularly up to 200. They produce like oodles and oodles and oodles of the stuff, more than I think you're ever going to need. Realistically speaking, in part, why do they do that? Well, just as a kind of a suck it and see rule, it seems to be that this is sort of a 2-to-1 ratio. So it requires 2 oil to make one thing, I guess is what you call it. Yeah, here it says 2 oil barrels to make 1 refined oil. Right? So you get 200 out of there, you plop it in there, you're going to get 100. And it's going to take time to get there, right? That's what the stored and consumption is about. It quietly works its way through the stored material to get to where it gets to. And you can see that I've been supplying this stuff like crazy, crazy. And we're still not up at the right end where we're going to be increasing the level of this. And we're supplying this from two fields. So these things take a lot of product. They then produce that product. So we've only got 20 here. Now again, I'm shipping this stuff like crazy. And that goes round to your main refinery that's making it into fuel. And the rule here, it says, is 1 for 1. Which is interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say that I've found that to be true, but I guess that's what they say. I guess it's a time-related issue. You know, you bring the stuff in, and it takes a little time for it to be converted over to what it needs to be. This then comes back and goes into the town, and the town is looking at 75 is being supplied out of a need of 82, and which is giving me a 90% bonus for growth on this place, which is jolly good. Now, just one of the things to bear in mind with this cargo situation for the train is that the train supplies these areas in white. Okay. Now, there's a whole pocket load of industry over here that actually wants fuel, and if I was to go to this building here, you can see that. You can see that these buildings over here want fuel. So how did I resolve that question? Well, I had to add a cargo stop over here, which supplies the whole area, which means I had to have a cargo stop over here, which is pulling from the train station. So as long as the cargo stop is close enough for the train station to turn white, it will pick up goods that arrive from the train station. So the train station is supplying this side of the site, and the surplus is going here. And I've got one little vehicle, which is this little horse-drawn cart here, which is sufficient to keep these people happy. That's all. I've just created this little, and that was necessary because the place started growing. So just keep an eye on that. Yes, you can bring in your train, but as industry grows, and if it grows out this way, this cargo will help to maintain it. So I've set that up. It was a nice little line. What have I got going on this line? Well, holy heck, I got a lot of stuff going on this line. Look at these trains. These trains are big trains. This is, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is like 11 units on this one. So this one is carrying a lot. That's fine. Has a capacity of 55. That must mean 11 units. Each one of those little tankers holds 5. It's kind of good because all the product goes in the same wagon. So it can fill up with here, it can empty everything, fill up here, empty everything, and carry on around. I don't have to mix cargo units. I put a little bypass track here. I could have run double tracks and done different things, but let's not get into that. Bypass track here, bypass track here. So look, I threw in quite a few. There's a bypass track there and a bypass track there. I put in a variety of bypass track there. A variety of bypass tracks to make sure that all these would go. These coming off the other line, they're a bit smaller. I haven't needed to make them as big because there's 2 of them and they're shuttling backwards and forwards on this little track, and that's enough. That's the equivalent of 12 more, times 5, that's 60 more units coming and going, and they come and go pretty quickly, which is great. This one is another large one, which is carrying stuff around here, and then we got another large one which is going in that direction. So I set all that up, made it all work, everything else, got it all running, and I haven't done anything else. There's no private transport. I haven't done any private transport. I haven't done anything else on any part of the map. I just wanted to see what this would function like and how it functions, and it functions really rather well. Line 1 is the main line. 1.7 million is what it's making me, and the secondary line is making me 400,000, and the little cargo line is making me 11k. And you can see here that all of these vehicles are making more money than they're costing to maintain. So we're quids in here quite a lot. Nothing in the red, hasn't been in the red. I've kept updating these and everything else, so we're all up to speed with everything. This is kind of hard because not all of these are in relation to things that we're involved with. Showing me Ashby de la Zouch, but I think that's is that the oil refinery thing? Yeah, it is. So these are all got some costs associated with them, but not massive amounts of costs. Really, we're only looking at Dartmouth, which is going pretty good at the minute. It's got a plus 110% growth. Obviously, we've been pumping that along, and then there's bits and pieces for whatnot. Finance-wise, the road situation is that the little wagon, it's really just probably not making enough by itself, and I don't really care. So while it, on the face of it, appears to be making money, whatever, it's not my big deal. The railroad, however, is making money, and it's making me a fair amount of money, 1.5 million to 2 million a time, including all of the maintenance and everything else on top of it. Investments is when I've had to buy new bits and pieces, which is all good. As you can see, I have paid off all of my loan. I have no loan, so I'm not in debt to anybody. That was probably the other main thing, was pay off your loan as fast as you possibly can. It's just an expense, just get rid of it. And once we paid that off, we just started racking up the millions pretty quickly. So we're now set, absolutely solidly set. 6.8 million in profit. I'm making a lot of money. I've paid off all my loans, so I don't have to worry about anything. And it's only 1874, so we can now start thinking about what to do about the rest of the map, because I tell you what, the rest of the map is complicated and going to be problematic. So we're going to need to think strategically about that one. We've probably, our best bet at the minute is here in Keswick for tools. So we've got this log forestry place, this timber place, and this tool place in Keswick here. So we can do a kind of a loop and a train back, and we can start feeding that into Keswick. I'd like some more wood to feature somehow, because I think one log is not going to be enough to supply this timber. Unfortunately, there's the only other log is over here. We'd have to. It's going to be a problem. There's another one down here, but it's a longer distance, but it's more direct and easier. This one might be simpler and cheaper because we don't have to dig a tunnel, and when you think about it, it's probably the same distance. So we probably want 2 raw goods feeding into the timber, and the timber trains feeding into there, and then the tools trains feeding into Keswick. Nothing else is simple so far. We've got food up here, but miles away from any raw product and so on. We got machinery over here, but timber and steel we need. Yeah, with steel's over here. It's not a super map. It isn't a super map. And we probably want to do some more private transport and things. So there's a few things to do and a few things to look at, but I'm now happy that this is a much better start than any of the other starts that I've had, and that I get it, and that I understand it, and that it makes sense. And I now know that you really need to really maximize your lines as much as possible. And these things, these trains need to be long. They need to be pretty long. You probably don't start out long. Start out with like a 6 train or a 7 train, but bear in mind you're heading for like a 10. You know, your train, because obviously the longer your train is, the slower it ultimately goes when it's full, right? So you don't want to grind things to a halt, but and then you really want to make sure you're not just going to supply it with one. And like I said, the balance of the goods coming in is you probably need at least 2 raw to your first manufactory. After that, it might get a little bit easier, but it depends on the goods chain that you're throwing together. So anyway. So there we are. So we're starting yet again. Same idea, all the same settings, all the same everything else. But I think we're slightly better set this time, with 6.8 million in the bank and a hefty profit coming along, that we can actually get somewhere within a reasonable amount of time without feeling like we're just paying the bank loan interest, right? So let me have a look at some things, set up some private transport routes, etc., and we'll have a look at what we can do with Keswick wooden timber supply, shall we? I'll see you soon. Team, welcome back. We're up here at Keswick. Right. Shall I explain what I've been doing? Probably should. It's 1877. Right. Dartmouth. Ashby de la Zouche. So, Dartmouth's quite big, so I put in a public transport route, which is fine. This is a Dartmouth bus. So we have a look at the lines for where's Dartmouth bus. Dartmouth bus here. It's 10,803. There's 4 coaches on it in the minute. That kind of seems to be relatively evenly balanced in terms of how frequently they get to where they are getting to. There's one stop here which seems to be routinely busy. It's got 68 people at it. This one's got 29. This is a bus. This is a bus. This is coach going, and that's a coach coming. And these, no, that's one stage coach. That's a cargo one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and there's one over there. So there is one coming around. So they're kind of roughly evenly spaced. So while I appreciate it's busy, they'll start backing up, and you see not all of the stops are as busy as other stops. So while this one seems like, look at this, it's got a marching band here. This is like a musical. They're going to break into song and dance. I'm singing. So yeah, okay, that's a bit of an imbalance, but that's fine for Dartmouth. I'm okay with that. Where am I? Dartmouth bus. Dartmouth bus. They're all in pretty good condition. I think we need to have a look at, what is it we need to have a look at? This one maybe? Replace selected vehicle? No, so maintenance 3,982 a year. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's a smarter way to here we go. Dartmouth bus. So is there any way to order this? Filter this. Filter it by line. Name. Ascending. Descending. Name. Line. Let's filter it by line. There we go. Line. So what have we got on the Ashby bus? Dartmouth bus. Ugh. So here we are. Dartmouth bus. So vehicle wise, profit. So that's fine. They're all doing fine. That line is doing fine. They're all pretty busy. I'm not, like I said, I don't really want to add another coach at this time to that line, mainly just because of the spacing issue. Yes, one stop is overloaded, but I'm just going to leave that. for right now. So we also did one in Ashby de la Zouche. Now, don't be fooled. This line is busy because there's a cross-country line between Dartmouth and Ashby, and that's a completely different story. The actual Ashby line, which is here, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure it's making me money. Where's the Ashby bus line? Yeah, it's not actually making me money. I could in fact get rid of either road vehicle 5 or road vehicle 6 on the Ashby line. In fact, I've got 3 buses on the Ashby line. I think I need 1. Let's sell those. And let's see if we can't get that line to make a bit of money. So that's that. And I had to make a cross-country route for this. Cross-country routes can sometimes make a bit of money. As you can see, there's a lot of people waiting. So I had to run the road over. I decided to bring it on the south side because it just seemed like there was going to be an awful lot more stuff. But I guess it's kind of 50-50. You know, and when you're down there and you're looking at the topography, you're trying to pick flat lines and things, etc. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can always change roads, add lines, etc., etc. So you kind of momentarily saw the Dartmouth Ashby line. Now, some of these have just started. So, well, this one actually has been there 3 years, Road Vehicle 6. Why is Road Vehicle 6 such a problem? This one has just started. So the 8 months ones just started. I'll expect them to run a little bit before we pick up money. This may have just been sometimes the way it calculates balances, it just hits it at the wrong time, right? So we'll keep an eye on that one. You can see these are all full. So these are all full. This guy's not full. So he may just be actually heading out. And this guy may not have done a full turn yet. So we'll see how it goes with those. We'll keep an eye on the Dartmouth Ashby line, but they all look busy. They all look busy. They all look busy. And the Dartmouth Ashby line itself is making money. So that's fine. So that's all good. So we'll then worry about around about 1880 or something like that. We're going to start getting little diesel coaches and little diesel vans, and that'll make things a little bit easier for all this kind of stuff. I haven't done anything with my train line. It was working fine. It has been working fine. I don't intend to do anything with it other than maintain it, and we'll keep an eye on it. Once we've got a few things stabilized, we'll do a state of the health review. Up north, let's start with the small things first. So let's start with the Keswick line. So I haven't done, probably the only place that's going to be easy to do a line. There's already a road to Shanklin. So I could probably do a cross-country line to Shanklin. And I haven't done that yet. So shall I show you how I do that? I'll show you how I put these things in, because I may not have shown you. So Shanklin's a relatively small-ish place, but what we're going to need on the road side of things is we're going to need the passenger stops. This is the passenger stops here. Now, conveniently, your vehicles can just do U-turns in the middle of the road. You tend to pick up more people in residential areas. These are the residential area here. But don't forget, people need to get to work and from work. So people will travel to industrial areas, and you will pick people up. So what I'll generally do is I'll probably just do a loop, right? So I won't make it too prescriptive. We'll go down here, and I tend to do them anti-clockwise for some reason. Probably because in this game, everything tends to travel on the right hand side of the road, so that's fine for people who drive on the right hand side, which is the majority of the world, and the majority of my viewers are in the US and Canada, and other parts of Europe, which also drive on the right hand side. This will be just a piece of cake for you. So I just tend to go around, and I don't bother with interconnecting streets too much. It doesn't. People seem to be prepared to walk to the bus stops, and I'll go around like that. And I'll maybe even do a little loop there. So you see, I've got these little collection of stops, which is perfectly fine. If you were doing a long distance route, you may want to set up a separate stop, which is not part of this. I might do that later, but let's not worry about it for now. So then you want to set up your lines. You just add a line, and you start wherever you start. It honestly doesn't make a difference with a loop, because ultimately everywhere is the start of a circle. And we'll put it round, and you see where they'll turn in the middle of the road. They seem to turn at junctions. And what you want to do is you want to name it. Now this is Shanklin, so I will call it Shanklin. And my code for things is my code for things is if it's just a bus route, I just call it bus. So then I know that this is the Shanklin bus route. That for me means it's a single bus route around the city. Now obviously, potentially in the future, as the game gets bigger and you have more than one bus route in Shanklin, you'll need to give them different names. One might be Shanklin bus clockwise, one might be Shanklin bus counterclockwise, Shanklin bus north-south, etc. It's up to you how you want to name lines. There's no right way or wrong way. It's whatever makes sense to you, because everyone has a different way of understanding things. I have a kind of a pattern of things that I can do that work for me. I can't guarantee it's going to work for you. Likewise, you might have a pattern that works for you. I can't guarantee it's going to work for me. So there we go. So we've got our route set up in Shanklin. Now we've got a road depot here. Now I would say, based on experience, I would say that we're going to end up getting to 3 vehicles on the Shanklin route. And I think that we'll be able to support 3 vehicles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to buy 1, 2, 3, right? And I'm going to go straight to this, and I'm going to put them all on the Shanklin route just right now. I'm on pause, by the way. So I do all this creation and stuff on pause, just in case, because you can get weird stuff happening if you're not on pause. So I'll put it on pause. So then what I'll do is I'll hit play, and the first one will come out, and I'll pause. Now what you can do here is this one here, I'm going to hit stop. Now the benefit of that is when I unpause it, he's blocking the one behind, so I don't need to do anything with him. And I'm going to watch this bus. Now the reason I want to do this is because I want this guy to get well started, so that he gets well into the loop already when he gets there. So I don't want them all backing up together. So I don't need to go vastly, hugely long distance. So what I'll do is I'll turn it off pause. I'll turn it on pause. I'll pick this guy again. I know he's stopped. I'll hit him on start, unpause, and then pause again. And I'm going to do it with the next guy. Unpause. Right? So he's now heading off. So there's a gap between this one and this one. And then I'm going to wait again, and then that's going to hang out. And that you know, and that'll work for a start. And then if you go back and look at your town or city, and you see that some of your vehicles have crammed up, just put a couple on pause, and just let the gap, you know, change between them. Give them an opportunity to spread out. This guy can probably go now. So while that is all happening, my accounts look good, so I'm happy to carry on working with the lines live. So we need another line. So we could probably start here, and this is heading the same way. So we could go here. So we could pick up those 2 and take them down, and we could probably flick it in there and there. That gives us our route between Keswick and Shanklin. Pardon me. And we're going to call that Keswick, Shanklin bus. Right? So there we go. So I know that that's a Keswick to Shanklin bus route, which is fine. Now, I reckon we'll probably need at least 4. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go back in here and we're going to say, we're going to put it on pause, because that's what we want to do here. 2, 3, 4. So we're going to take at least 4, and we're going to put those on the Keswick to Shanklin bus line. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to zoom in. We're going to take it off pause. Second guy comes out. We hit pause. And we're going to let that run for a bit. We're going to see where he goes. They kind of... The pathfinding is kind of interesting. Sometimes they'll evenly split up. Sometimes they won't. So that guy's off to do the things that he's off to do. Oh, he's heading that way. So he's heading straight off. All right. Okay. Well, in that case, what we'll do is we'll take this guy off. And I'll just capture that guy. And I'll put him on pause. And we'll see what happens. So our guy's already headed off. This one's gone a different way this time. Is he going to even stop, or is he just going to head straight towards Shanklin? No, he's going to go around the other way. So he's going to head up to the other stop. Interesting. We'll get this guy going. We'll stop this guy. We'll see where this guy goes. So got 3. So this is the 3rd out of 4. So he's off on another strange loop because he's got to loop around and pick up there. This guy's going to go where? Is he going to loop in the middle of the road? No, he's going to go around that way as well. Okay. Alright, okay. Well, we're going to let this guy go. It's the last guy, gal, whomever, and see where they go. So 2 are heading out to that stop. 1 stopped at this stop. Where's this guy going to go? Is he going to go all the way to the back stop as well? Looks like he is. Which is fine. Because there's a lot of people waiting. 27 in the Keswick bus so far. You know, which is cool. But you can see now, I mean, they'll spread out. It's starting to back up a little bit. But we got a lot of people there, so let's not worry about that. So that's how we set up these lines. You can see that these guys are heading out here. You got this line doing the things this does. And as I've said before, you know, it takes a while for these things to bed in. Like a long while. So let's have a look again. So remember what one was giving us grief in Ashby? So it was the Dartmouth Ashby bus. There's this one here. It's now been running for 2 years. Vehicle 15. Why is Vehicle 15 giving us such a problem? Let's locate Vehicle 15. Vehicle 15 is there. Let's observe Vehicle 15. You can observe from here as well. So here we come through the lovely industrial... Well, it's the Industrial Revolution. Right. Some people got on board. 3 people got on board. So that's alright. He's going to wait a bit and he's off. I like the hat, sir. It's a very nice hat. Must be terribly exposed out there on long distance journeys. So he's gonna go wherever the heck he's gonna go. He's picked up another person, and then he's gonna turn around and head back again. So he should be fine. It's showing us 8,768. I think it's probably okay. He seems to be doing okay. I think again it might be yeah there you go. So he's turning a profit. So we've got a few people turning a profit here in the line department. And we've got some things that are not. The Keswick to Shanklin one's just started. I mean, you just saw that. So it's just started. We've got the Keswick Tools line. We're going to look at the train lines in a minute. So there you go. So that's all good. That's all good. Everything looks good. It's all looking good. It's 879. I'm just going to stop while we have a little chin wag and a little chat. Feel like a breath of fresh air. Feels like you're running at high speed. So, right. Keswick. So we had to do a few things here. So I did decide, rightly or wrongly, that what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the raw logs from here and the raw logs from here into the timber plant. Why did I do that? Well, my main concern was if I took raw logs from here and I ran this together, I was kind of worried that I'd have trains kind of bumping into each other and kind of getting in each other's way, and I didn't kind of want that to happen. So I decided what might be better was just keep it separate. In fact, this line is an entirely separate line. So let's have a look at it. So we started down here. We've double lined it down here. That's future proofing, because I know from my previous experience that I'm going to buy a second train, and I'm going to buy one right now on this line after we've had a look at it. So this allows you to switch, so that if you have two trains coming in, they can go to either side. Now, while there's no signal here, the train station itself is a signal. So if there is a train waiting here and one comes down the line, it will pick the correct platform to stop at, and I'll show you how you do that. And we'll have a look at one of the other stations to show you how you do that. No, actually, we can do that. We can do that here. Let me show you. This is the Alcester Keswick log lane. So this is Alcester. So you can see that I've got the route coming to both sides of the station. How do you do that? Well, you go over here, you select on your line, and you come over here, and you see by default it wants to pick a favorite line, and that's fine. It doesn't, in this instance, it doesn't really matter to me. And you can see that depending on where you put it depends on where the cargo is placed. So it as I said, it traditionally picks line 1, so that's fine. We're going to leave it at line 1. Now you have this sort of like strange Y-shaped figure here. Now this means you can turn the other platform or terminal on or off if you have the possibility to get there. If you don't connect a line to it, you can't. But if you do, you can switch it on. That says to the train, hey mate, when you're coming into this station, you can choose either platform 1 or platform 2. So if you switch it over and you open that up, you end up with the possibility of going to both platforms. So that's fine. This is raw producer, so I've turned the cargo all the way up, and I'm not sure it's super critical for monocrop or mono cargo stations, but I always like to go through and just double check and say, look, we're not unloading anything here, we're only going to be loading logs. You understand that? Yeah? So we kind of do that. So that's how you manage your platforms. You can see we've got platform anarchy on, and it looks good. Looks good. It doesn't explain how they get here, but it looks good. So there you go. So that's that. In terms of the rest of the development of the line, I mean, you can see that it's a kind of an undulating landscape. So I did it in segments, and I tried to pick a way that kind of avoided the worst of the problems, because the trains will slow down going up inclines, obviously, aside from the cost. And I wanted to future-proof in quite a number of passing points, and I tried to do that where it would be least expensive. You know, obviously don't do it where it's going to be problematic. And we had to do this little cut through here. There's no other way to really get around it. If it went any other way, it'd be a tunnel. If it went round that way, it was going to be a long detour. So for the cost to come through here, then just another little before and after the cut passing lane, and then we're on the lead into the station. And as you can see, I haven't joined this together. This only comes in to this platform, and it only services this platform. So if we have a look at this line and go to Keswick, you can see that I don't get the option for line 1 because we're not connected. Okay, so it's only going to ever work on platform 2, and that's fine. It's going to stay on platform 2. We're not loading here, we're only unloading, and I've set to say that we're only unloading. So that's the line to Keswick, and that's the train to Keswick. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the Keswick, Alcester to Keswick line. 10, I could go 11, but 10 is good. 10 is good, and it's a long line. So what I want to do is I want to go to here. I want to duplicate this vehicle, and it will do it right now. And it cost me what it cost me, which is about 1.3 million for that train. And it's going to start from down here, you can see, right? So he's going to pick up some logs. Let's see him pick up some logs. And then he's going to head off. And that's pretty good because hopefully they'll just about pass each other. So there he goes. This one's going to come down, it's going to stop at that signal while he heads off. And that's all well and good. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this train. So it's now stopped. And I'm going to just ask him to stop. So he's blocking the track, but I don't care. So I want this guy, I want these guys to be almost in unison, right? So when he starts pulling in at the top one, I'm gonna let this one go, and then they're gonna hopefully take the same amount of time, roughly pass each other. I might have to put in a passing lane just before that cut, it seems like, because I seem to have missed that one. So I'm gonna start that now, and I am going to put in a passing track here. It's nice and flat, so we'll just run up a track. It runs parallel pretty well. I'll just scoop it in, and I'll take it from here and scoop it in. You need your signals. So signal at the end, traveling up on the right hand side. I'll put a couple of dividers in, probably about there, being mindful of the full length of a train, and do that. Right, so there we go. So we got a few passing lanes, which is good. They should work together fairly in unison. This guy tends to come out quicker because he's just dropping off, but this guy is also now heading out. Right, excellent. And they're going to pass each other, and they're going to move along, and that's going to be that. So that was that line, and I kept that separate. Now, in here, getting a little bit complicated. However, let's talk about the simple line first. So the simple line is going to be, this is the tool place that requires the timber to make tools. This is the timber factory, and this is Keswick that needs tools. And you can see that we're serving a few, but not all of them. And we know how to fix that, and I'll show you. We'll go through fixing that just for you. So how we went with this, or how we're going with this, is because I've already dedicated platform 2 essentially to the logs. That only really left us platform 1, but we're only going one place out of here so far. We're going to Alchester North, and we're going there for tools. So this is a fairly simple straight line with a couple of passing points. Again, trying to stick to the topography. Stick to the stuff that's flat, follow the curves, avoid the humpy bumpy stuff, and get out here to this place. And that's all fine. Couple of passing places, everything else. Now then, here's a little magic over here, a little special sauce. This thing. Now, this thing took me a while to work out. I wish you could do it simply, like there was just like a, what you call it, like an asset you could buy. Like here, there was a track, and you could just plonk it in. So this is points, and this allows you to choose between platform 1 and platform 2. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. Wayne's World, Wayne's. Never mind. That's for the Canadians in the house. So the thing is, this really only works very well on a straight section. If you try and do this kind of thing on a curve, it gets a bit gnarly. So what you do is you go to your tracks, not your signals, and you're trying to get this kind of thing to happen. Now, that's fine. You can build it here, no problem. But you'll never be able to build the second one. Trust me, I have tried. On a curve, isn't going to happen. You can do one, but you can never do both. It's such a magnificent pain. So you need a straight section. Usually I do it straight out of the station because it's kind of where you want it to happen, but it doesn't always have to be like that. It depends on your track layout, so use your imagination. However, what I have found is that the best distance to do this is do like a 50-meter straight section, and then start just a little bit distance out from the station. Alternatively, if you do it 50 meters, start from the far end and work back, and just leave a little gap in front of the station. Don't get too close to the station; it starts to get a little bit squirrely. So just leave a bit of a gap. And then that's fine. You have the possibility for trains to change. They can either come in platform 1 and go out platform 1, or they can come in platform 1, go out platform 2, and vice versa. It really adds the capability to turn around. Now, with the signals, this is where it's important to understand how the game chooses where it's going and how it's getting there. Because we actually need a signal here as well. Because what it says is it wants to travel on the right. So when it comes down here, it'll automatically pick the right track. I don't need to tell it to pick the right track here. It's going to pick the right-hand track. And then when it gets here, it's going to say, well, is platform 1 busy? Is platform 2 busy? Is either of them busy? If platform 1's busy, when it hits this signal, it will automatically move over to platform 2 because the station is a signal, right? Then what it will do is it will move out and it will never select this side. It will always pick the right hand side, so it's always going to go up the right hand side, so you don't need any other signals. However, if your train's coming in and both platforms are busy, you want it to stop. Because if it doesn't stop, it's going to drive right up to the next train. It's going to jam your station. So you need to have a signal here, but only here and only on the right side. If this was a junction in the middle of a track somewhere, you would also want one here going this way. Out this side, this signal here helps get the trains out of the way, because if there was no signal here, they would be looking to the next clear signal, which is down this bit of the track. So that leaves a whole chunk of track. So what this says is, I'm clear to go. There's a train waiting here. Okay. Is there a train here? The signal's fine. Okay, I can head to the signal and stop there, and then that lets the other train in. It's a bit of a thing. It's a bit of a thing. But once you get the hang of it, it works kind of well. And I'll show you it working further down the track. And these are just passing lanes, and the same thing. Game will always pick the right-hand side. Your engineers, I think they're called engineers that drive locomotives, your locomotive engineers are always going to pick the right-hand side, okay? So they're going to come in here. Now, we've got points here at this station, which means that my trains can come out and they can move out of wherever they're going to go to, and whenever they're going to go to there. Now, you'll see there's a sneaky little points here, because this is a twin track, and because if I have a train come in and it goes out on this right-hand side, I need it to get over to the left-hand side at some point. I'm not going to put a signal there. Actually, I am. You're right. I am, because it's going to start getting busy on this track in a minute. So I'm going to put a signal there. That at least clears the train station. So we can at least clear the train station. Because the ones that are going to the logs need to change onto the left-hand track, because the left-hand track then changes again. This is just an incoming passing lane. And then it merges again to take the train line to head all the way up to the logs. So it comes over here, comes around here, and there's a long passing line up there and everything else. I don't think I need a passing line here as well. You know, I've got passing there, and I've got passing there, and I've got this station, and this is another full train. I'm gonna duplicate this train soon. I want to see what the timings are for the other log trains coming in, and then try and balance the timing of this, because I want these 4 log trains to kind of like be hitting boom, 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 and really throwing the logs in here. But I would like, as I've said before, what I've found out is the importance with these production units is frequency. You know, so you want it to be working, but you want it to be working continuously. So you like feed it some, let it go, feed it a bit more, let it go, feed it a bit more. Just don't like load it all at once. It can still work, but just like evenly spacing out, what they call balancing the production line. Just so that it's pretty good. So I'm going to watch this guy and see if I need to pause him, or because I'd like him to arrive in the gap between the other two. and then I'm going to do a second one. So it's like one train from the south, then one train from the north, then one train from the south, then one train from the north. Bearing in mind that this is a shorter line, so that's going to fall apart probably, but it's a good place to start anyway. So coming out of this station, staying on the right hand side, trains won't move left if they don't have to. We've then put in another passing lane, so we've got this 4-track section, and then this just runs down into the station. You can see we've also got the points, and we already have a signal there, you can see, so that's fine. We've got a signal coming in, which is fine. That allows the train at the station to come out if it wants to, or if the station's already jammed, which is all well and good. And that's it. And yeah, you know, again for the line, it's the Keswick Tools lines. Go down to K, Keswick Tools. We went through and we balanced, you know, Keswick Transfer. Yes, it can go to either platform, and eventually maybe. I've never found it to be the case with final product that it's going to be so busy I'm going to need a second train. But if it does, that's fine. And again, I balance with it. It's it shouldn't be loading any of these at this place. It should definitely only be unloading. I don't know why it's we're not loading that at Keswick Transfer. In fact, we're not loading anything at Keswick Transfer. We are unloading tools, but that's fine. Down here, this seems to have changed from what it was. So Keswick, which is the main one, we're going to be loading up timber, which is fine. And then over at Alchester North, we're going to be loading up only on tools. So let me just check that. Keswick Transfer should be just unloading. Yeah. Right, so there we go. So let's see, that train is heading down, that is heading up, he's heading here. He's waiting at the points. Now he's heading. So this guy could have arrived a little bit sooner, but there's going to be another train coming, so he's going to move out, and then that other train's going to arrive. Little bit close together. And just see it run again. You know, and the problem is there's a lot of points. There's a lot of trains. There's a lot of things that are going to delay other actions and stuff happening. You see this guy switching lanes as he moves on. So the other one's coming up. Yeah, they're going to pass just at the cut. It's fine. They've kind of bunched a little bit together, but that's okay. Then he's going to deliver. I think I can... Just gonna pause him a minute. I think he's good to go now. Trying to balance time. Because then this guy will be leaving, that guy will be arriving. So then what I want to do is I want to buy a second train for this line. And I'll get that going when our in fact, I'll plan it now. So, has anything changed? No, still the same. What we'll do is, this is Keswick Logs. So, Keswick Logs, we're going to duplicate. Right, and we're going. We've got that guy, he's going to load up. There he goes. I've just stopped him. This guy's gonna stop in. See how they swapped past each other? It's great work, isn't it? Great work. He's going to drop off. I've started the other train so that they don't bump into each other. So then hopefully this guy drops off at the right time. And then the other guy. There they go. Gonna work away, work away, work away. They don't seem to be producing much. Something not right here. Something not quite functioning 100%. This, where's my tools train? Right, this guy here. This guy's not set up correctly, is he? Right. This is something you need to be careful about. Have you got everything set up? Train 9. So I haven't got this route set up properly. So this is Keswick Tools. So at Keswick, what is he picking up? He has to pick up timber. He's destined to load with timber. Okay, and when he goes to Alcester North, he's not unloading timber. He was unloading logs. So he's unloading timber now, and he's picking up tools, right? And when he goes back to Keswick Transfer, he's only unloading tools, right? So we've got on the train, which is train 9, what's he got on his person? Let's have a look. So he needs to carry timber. Yes, he can carry timber. And pick up tools. Yes, he can pick up tools. So that one hasn't quite been balanced. So you just need to be careful with some of these things. You see, and that's sort of the giveaway. If your production place isn't stacking up finished goods on the platforms, something is very definitely wrong, right? Anyway, you know what? This has been a long video with lots of talking. And I really have to call it there, which is fine. I've explained. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this forward a little bit, balance a few of these things out, see how we're going, do a little bit of maintenance, and probably around about, let's say 1890, 9 years, that should be fine. Around about 1890, I'll bring you back in, and we'll see how the new map is going. But look, we're making money. We've finally figured it out. We're finally making money. It's 1881. We've got nearly 10 million in the bank. We've got a number of lines going now. And I feel like we've broken the back of it. Albeit this is only on easy, which apparently is just like ridiculously easy. But there you go. You got to start somewhere. I hope you like the improvements I've made. If you have, subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell notification so you know when the next one of these is coming out. And I will see you all again for some fast-paced Transport Fever 2 real soon. Ta-ta for now. PlayStation